everyone, welcome to Vlogmas day 22. Today, we're gonna start some pages in my journal. I've been really excited to do this, so I'm glad I can finally start. So I want to go through some of the pages where you don't have to wait until January to do them. Like, you can do the setup ahead of time, which will mean thinking about some of the goals on some of the trackers and things like that. So I've already done the daily affirmations and the bucket list. So if you've not seen those videos, you can go and check those out. And now we're going to dive into some of the other pages. I have got my gel pens ready, and I have also got my pencil crayons ready. I'm here for basically colouring in. So I will flip the camera around so you're actually looking at the journal, not me, because you don't need to see me, you need to see what's going on in there, and I will talk you through the initial setup that I'm doing. And of course I will link it down below if you wish to go and get one for yourself. This is the beige colour, and it comes in 7 other colours, which are black, like a baby pink, a baby blue, a navy blue, a cream, like a lilac, and a green. So those are all available if you want one. So I printed out a map of all the English counties, and I shaded in purple all the ones I've already done in my adult life, with the aim of doing as many, if not all of them, in 2024, which I'll be shading in blue. We've then got my name, of course, and the introduction page, if you will. I've then got to get through all the notes pages until we get to my daily affirmations and bucket list, and then monthly budget plan. So I could start this now if I wanted to. However, I don't actually know what my monthly income is going to be. Since my pay rise, I've also had back pay put into my pay, so I won't actually know what my actual income for this year is until January, which is bonkers. So I can't fill that bit in, and I can do my expenses, but I think for a lot of those it's quite personal. I'd like to keep that just for myself. Then we've got non-essential spending. I can't start yet. Weekly meal planning, I won't be able to start yet, but we can do total savings. Specifically this one, which is the one where you shade in all the way through the year. So when you do these, I would advise doing them in pencil to begin with, and then if you want to, you can go over it in pen, just because if you make a mistake on your only copy on your increments, you'll probably be quite sad. So I've just drawn a line straight down the middle just so I know where the center is to make it easier. And then I'm going to put my increments in pencil so I know it works, and then I can go over it in pen or erase them and fill it in pen. So I'm starting at the bottom with 10,000, just because I know off the top of my head, if I added all my accounts together, I know I've got more than 10,000. I'm then thinking that my goal on my bucket list was to have 25,000 in savings. So I'm going to go up in increments of 1 until I hit 25. And then when I've got to there, for the rest, I consider that kind of like added bonus for the year. So I'm going to go up in 2s, just to make the gaps a little bigger. Then up in a 5, like this is the realms of never going to happen in 2024, but let's aim high. And then a gap of 10, just because that lands us really nicely on the top at 50k. And you can work out whatever increments work for you, and if you want to have like a nice round number on the top, you can just figure out in a way that works. You might not have as many 1s. You might do a few 1s, a few 2s, a few 3s, a few 4s, a few 5s. You might go 1s straight to 5s. Like, it's entirely your call. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time making this look pretty, and then work out where I'm actually up to right now so I can start shading it in, so then it's all set up ready to start in January. So I've filled in all of my numbers. Even pre-planning and even with my line, I've ended up going a little bit wonky, and then I really annoyed myself because I've noticed I've drawn 2s in 2 different ways, and that is really bugging me. But I'm sure I can live with that. I decorated the page a little bit with some pound signs and just some little coins. I just figured, why not, if I'm going to be looking at it quite regularly. This page is probably a page I'll update monthly at the same time as doing the savings graph tracker. So I don't need to be checking it every day. but I just thought it'd look cute if I decorated it, and why not? This journal's going to be with me all year. And I've just done a little tot up of my savings so far, and we're sat at about 13,000. So I'm just going to shade that in, and I've decided to stick with a nice green, given that I did my pound signs in green. I thought we'd colour coordinate a little bit. So I'm just going to colour in up to 13,000, and then hopefully over the course of 2024. So my aim is to get to here. So like 2/3, just under, of the way up the pyramid, or the upside down triangle, I should say. But anything above that would be just an added bonus. So bear in mind then, for me to get that far, that would mean saving 12,000 over the course of the year. So essentially £1,000 a month, which at the minute I'm saving £700 a month. So if I'm shy of 300 a month, that's 3,600 altogether that I'm not getting from anywhere. And to put it into perspective, this year, given that I didn't ramp up my savings till the end of the year, I saved just over 5,000. So saving my £700 a month for 12 months is 8,400. That's only going to take me to about here. So I've got to make up that difference somehow over the course of the year. So let me just nudge this into view so you can see it. So there we go, my little bit shaded. So I'm ready to go for January. This is where we're starting the year off. And then I've started to fill in the savings tracker graph, which is a monthly tracker, and you can put up to 4 accounts on here. Well, I suppose you could do more. You just have to add yourself some little boxes on. So I've gone up in £1,000 increments because I feel like that will cover the sorts of amounts that are in all of my accounts. The savings one is really low, so that's going to be very steady progression. Like each month will only be like a fraction of a square. That's going to be really shallow, but that doesn't really matter. At least it covers everything. I've gone for premium bonds in orange, stocks and shares ISA in purple, and then just general savings in blue. And I've left one blank. I was going to label it other, but I thought I would wait and see in case anything else comes up that I could use that for. I haven't included like my active accounts, like accounts where money's going in and out all the time. And that's like my current account where my salary from my job comes into, my side hustles account, and my bills account. They're all going in and out, and there's no point me tracking what's in those in terms of trying to build up money over time, because it isn't really happening. They're very active, they're very up and down all the time. So that is now ready to go for January. The next one I can start to set up is the chore tracker, which I'm so happy to actually have a paper copy of this where I can see all of the columns across the year at the same time, because I've had this one on my phone and you can only see so many on the screen at once. So I just need to get this in frame. So the space down the side to list all your chores, and then you can put your key at the bottom for completed, or priority for next week, or didn't need doing, or away from home, or whatever it is that you need to do. So I'm going to start by listing my chores first. Once again, I've done a rough list just so I can try my best not to mess it up. I'm not promising anything, but we can at least try to get this right. So I'm dividing my chores into weekly, fortnightly, 3-weekly, monthly, and yearly. I don't record my daily chores because I do them every single day, so I don't feel the need to put them on the tracker. So we're starting with weekly, and for things I need to do twice in 1 week, for example, the top of my list is cleaning out my bunny rabbits. I just put bunnies 1 and bunnies 2, and so that way I've got it as 2 separate entries in the chore tracker, and it means I then do them twice. When I do laundry, I do laundry for lights, laundry for darks, laundry for whites, and laundry for separate. So anything where I can only do sort of one thing at a time, or hand wash, I do all of those as a separate thing, and I probably do a load of each every 2 weeks because it's just me on my own. A lot of the things I put in here, you have to bear in mind it's just me, so not a lot of things need cleaning as often as, let's say, if you had a house with a whole family, like with kids and stuff. It might seem really weird that I only clean the ensuite once every 3 weeks, but that's because it never gets used. It literally just needs a wipe down where dust is settled. I have an ensuite off my bedroom, but it's really little and dark because the window goes onto the side of another house, which is only about 3 feet away. So it barely gets any light, and I just use the main bathroom in the house as my bathroom. So the ensuite never gets used. I have maintenance on here, which is like when you go about your house and you notice a bit of paint needs touching up or a little repair job needs doing. So I will make a note of the things I need to do, probably on one of the notes pages, and then when it comes to my monthly run around, just touch up in those areas. That's weird that I had exactly enough lines for the things I need. That wasn't planned. I suppose I could have taken out the spaces if I needed them, but I got my entire list in there. That was good, and I feel like my list is a little bit OTT as well. You might not necessarily need to put the yearly stuff in there. So for the key, I'm going to go for green shading in for completed. Yellow is for priority. So if there was something I should have done on a particular week and I didn't do it, and it should have been done that week, I will colour it in yellow to make it a priority for the following week. And then what you should see, if I'm doing my job right, is that that is a green one the next week. Not needed, I'm doing in red. So if it's a weekly task, for example, and for whatever reason it just doesn't need doing, it didn't get as messy this time, whatever the reason is, one that's coming to mind is mow the lawn, because when it gets to the colder months, it doesn't need doing as often. So it might be that it's not needed. So even though you were meant to do it that week, you fill it in red because it didn't need doing. And then I'm just doing black for away. So if you're away on holiday, it might be that things don't need doing because you're not there to make a mess and you're not there to do them anyway. So I'm just going to shade that one in black. And so now my chore tracker is all set up ready for January. I can't do anything on the water tracker because that starts in January, and this will be so blue, so I don't feel like I need to decorate the page or anything. The sleep tracker, I can just fill in the quality of sleep, but for me that's going to be really straightforward. I'm just going to do it as a traffic light sort of shading in. And so I'll start myself off for the first page, but the key is repeated on all the pages, but I'll do that as I go along. So I'm just going to do the first page for the first quarter, and then I will fill in the rest as I go. So I'm just going to do green means a good night's sleep. Yellow will mean sort of an okay night's sleep. And red will be a bad night's sleep. Hopefully, we won't have too many of those. And this one is just rating quality of sleep. Even if it's a short sleep, was it a good short sleep? Like, it's not rating how tired I feel in the morning or throughout the day. There is an energy tracker for that, which is something that comes separately. So I could write underneath what each one means, but I think a green, yellow and red system is pretty self-explanatory. So those are the sleep tracker pages. Then we have the energy tracker. So this is a shade in the boxes as you go sort of tracker, and I'm going to do that the same. I'm going to do green, yellow and red for energy. I should mix it up. I mean, I like a traffic light system, but I don't feel like I have to do green, yellow, red for everything. But it's just good to have these things set up ready for the 1st of January. So we can say, where's my pen gone? Green is high energy. Yellow is mid. And red is low energy. So that's another one set up ready to go. For mood, I'm going to do as positive, so generally quite positive, neutral, and negative. Now, when I planned this one, when I designed it, I was trying to think of whether I needed to do it as sort of emotions, happy, sad, and all of that, but I thought that's too complex for each day. So for negative, I'm going to go blue, because you know when you say you're feeling blue, Neutral, I'm going to go purple. I feel like I should do green for neutral, but green is also a happy colour. So I'm going to go for green for positive. Or I could do pink for positive. But is that too close to red that it should look like a negative? But I do like the contrast of pink and blue. I think I'm going to go pink. I think I'll just have like these nice, cute colours for the mood tracker. So pink, purple and blue I think is quite cute. Then we have the menstrual tracker. So I want to have 2 colours to be the phases of the menstrual cycle. So there is the follicular phase and the luteal phase. So the first phase is the follicular phase, which starts with your period, and day 1 of your period is day 1 of your cycle. And that ends on your ovulation day. So you'd basically cover, depending on like where your cycle is, your follicular phase might be like here, and then your luteal phase is after ovulation and then ends when your next period starts. So if I get my pen, I'm going to do 2 colours. So I'm going to have one for the follicular phase and one for the luteal phase. So all of this will either be one of 2 colours. In the follicular phase, you're going to have something to indicate when your period is, and then something to indicate when ovulation is. And that's going to be something that you draw on top of shading in the squares. So every square will be shaded one of these 2 colours, but then these you'll indicate on top. So I'm going to go blue and purple again. So I'm going to do the follicular phase in purple and the luteal phase in blue. And then I'm going to take my little pens, and on any day where there's a period, if I was creative enough, I'd try and do a uniform like droplet, but I know I'm not that good. So I'm just going to do a red dot on any day there's a period, and then a blue dot when ovulation occurs. Now, I know not everyone will be able to figure that out. I track my cycle using natural cycles, so I know when my ovulation is, but it's generally, it tells you a few days after. So it might just be a case of I fill in the month at the end of the month, or I fill in the cycle at the end of the cycle. We will see. But that is all ready to go. Weight tracker. So the weight tracker is all determined by your own personal journey. You might be on a journey to lose weight. You might be on a journey to gain weight. I don't know that I'll necessarily need the weight tracker in terms of reaching a particular goal, but I would just like to keep track of my weight, even if it's just to see it steady throughout the entire year. This has got a little marker for each week of the year. My current weight is around 135 pounds, I believe. So I would like to put that towards the top end of the scale, but I'm very aware that weight fluctuates. So if I work out what I call it my goal weight. It's the weight I would like to get to and not go much under. So that's 126 pounds. So I like to work in round numbers though. So if I had 125 here and went up in, let's say, ones to begin with, what would that be? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So 35, that's where I'd be now. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So I could measure mine from 125 to 140 pounds. Although I have been above 140 pounds before, but ideally I would like to keep below that. So I think that's a good measure for me to go with. So I'm going to do mine in pounds. And they're the measures I'm going to go for. And then this one's really simple because each week, if you want to do it, you just weigh yourself and put how many pounds you are on the grid. So now those are all filled in pounds on the side, and I've just labelled it pounds there. Then we've got the social media tracker. So we've got little ones for here because we've got one if you've got YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, or whichever social media platforms you use. For me, for now, I do have TikTok, but I don't really post to it. So for now, I'm not going to worry about the bottom two. I will fill in a tracker for YouTube and Instagram. So it's always been kind of weird that my number of followers on Instagram is about 10% of what I've got on YouTube. So I should be able to work with these like in unison. Once again, I'm just going to pause for a second whilst I think about my increments, put them in pencil so I know what they are, and then I'll come back. So for YouTube, I started at 12,000 because I'm at 12,000 and a bit at the minute, and then it's going up in 500s until we get to 20k, which is my target for the year. Then it goes up in thousands until 25k, so anything there is an added bonus, and then a big jump to 30k. If we hit 30k by the end of the year, I would be like lost for words. That is just crazy. And then for Instagram, I started at 1.2k, then I've gone up in 100s all the way up to 3k, and then I've jumped in 500 increments, maxing out at 5k, because we just know how much I love a round number at the top. So at the minute on YouTube, I can colour in 2. I know what you're thinking, why didn't I just start at a target with nothing shaded in? I want to have a little bit shaded in before we start. And then on Insta, I can colour in the first 3. Like so. We've then got the reading tracker, and as per my bucket list, I'll probably only fill in one of these all year because I want to read as much of the Bible as possible. So mine might all just be one colour, and then so I'm going to shade it in by colour to indicate the book. So if you have got more than one book, you can do up to 16 colours using these boxes, but there is space to add your own. And then on the actual square each day, I'm going to write the number of pages. So it might be 10 pages, 15 pages, 12 pages, 20 pages, and so on each day. And then we've got some blank trackers just in case we come up with any ideas in the year and we want somewhere to put them. Then we've got the gifting tracker, which I'll fill in as I come up with ideas for presents, so you're not left scrambling when the time comes. And then I will be filling in the first travel planner page for my trip to Milan, but obviously I've got to be careful. I don't want to be writing like all my flight details and everything in here and posting it all over the internet. So there's 4 pages for those. Then there's the manifestations pages, which I feel like that's quite a private thing. And then obviously I'm not going to fill in the password pages on the internet. But then that is it for our pages. So I am all set for the most part. As I said, there's the gym one and there's another social media one in there that I am yet to set up, but I'm feeling much better and ready to go. And so that is all for this video. I will see you again tomorrow. Until next time, take care. Bye.